Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I am your host, the Incredible Sulk, and I hope you guys are doing good. Good, more or less. Good, fantastic. Good, bad. Whatever type of good that you decided to be today when you woke up. I hope you have been that type of good. If it's good, bad, that is not on me. That is specifically a you problem. So get some help. I'm not a good expert. I'm not a good chiatrist or whatever they're called. I'm pretty sure that's it. I've never been wrong before. Welcome to the show. Sorry about last night's vacation. It was not my fault. Rumble decided to be Rumble and said you needed verification, but tonight's all like, oh, you're already verified. Yeah, I knew that. Yes, thank you. I knew that, Rumble. I was well aware that I was already verified before this. I was pretty sure. Pretty damn sure. We're doing incels tonight. We're doing incels, and it's a fun topic. It's a jovial, lighthearted thing when Alec Manassian mows down, I think it was 11 people. It's a pretty good, I mean, it's terrible, obviously, but it's a pretty good score. If we're keeping score, that ain't bad, right? You know, what really would crush somebody's spirit if they went on a rampage and they maybe got one or two people, right? I mean, they've lost everything else in their life. And they can't even pull this off. They can't even pull that off. And I'm sure it happens a lot. So we're talking about incels. And it's going to be a fun documentary. And I don't know what else to say. You guys know what that means. You know what they are. I don't have to explain what an incel is to anybody in the year 2024, do I? Right? Unless you're 80 years old or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, the dating market is rough. Don't get me wrong. It's rough out there. I mean, I'm married, so I'm not in it. Thank God. But it has to be rough for those other people out there. And so my heart goes out to you until you go on a rampage, I guess. So don't do that. But to the rest of you, I hope you guys are prepared and ready, and you got your little mini vodkas, your mini alcohols that you get from the gas station, you know, those little $3 ones and stuff, and you just, the mini shots, right? Get like 15 of those, and that should get us through the first half hour. And after that, it really doesn't matter, because you're going to be so blackout drunk, then I really could just, I don't have to try anymore. So I'd appreciate that if you could just let me phone it in for the last hour or two of this 2-hour show. One more time. Anyways, guys, get comfy, get cozy, get ready. If you're driving, please stay safe and keep driving. If you're working, I don't give a shit what you do. I'm not your boss. Sit down on the job and watch the show and comment and be a part of it. By all means, I am not your boss. So, I drink a bunch of those little those mini liquors and stuff. If you're in construction, it's not going to be a problem. If you're in teaching, it's not going to be a problem. If you're an adult and you can handle your shit, it's probably not going to be a problem. So there's a lot of functioning alcoholics out there. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you're the lucky few. No, there's millions. Anyways, guys, thank you for coming. What is it tonight? It's a Tuesday? It's a Tuesday, December 10th, and Christmas is coming. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for coming. I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream, and this is called the internet's most dangerous incels. The most dangerous incels. Wait, what the hell happened? There we go. Most dangerous incels. So, Enjoy.
This is an incel. This is an incel. And this is an incel. Hiding behind dimly lit screens and fueled by feelings of rage and loneliness, many of the men you will see
Not
in
you
this
guys,
video
though. Not you guys. It is not specifically talking about you guys.
found themselves spiraling
Not.
out of control in the most destructive and public
Not
of
you
ways.
guys.
Shunned by society, bitter at their misfortune, and unable to turn their lives around for the better,
Go
incels
away, OneDrive. Nobody wants you here.
are typically defined as men who become hostile towards women as
Boston's
a
first. JD grabs Tim. Background noise. What's up? Ardenshire.
direct result of not
Hey,
being able
boss.
to attract them. And although there are no specific studies to determine how many incels there are across the globe, it is predicted
JD grabs says sober as a judge. How it's the least dude, you are like the least one. You're English and you dress like Peaky Blinders. How are you not constantly wasted? Do you have a flask on you? I know most people don't have flask unless they're like dedicated to the art of alcoholism, but you seem like the type of guy, and not just normal, plastic bottle off the shelf vodka type of stuff. No, he's got like the bathtub stuff that was illegal that his grandfather bought. Was alcohol illegal during Prohibition? Not in England, huh? Well, maybe you don't then.
that they are far
Maybe you
into the
don't.
millions. And today, we're looking at 5 of the most dangerous of them all.
Maybe you don't have.
Welcome back to Coffee House Crime, folks. My name is Adrian, and today we're looking at yet another compilation video. Now, just a general disclaimer here, but this video is not intended to insult or criticize the many peaceful incels out there. Instead, it's to look at 5 separate stories where that bitterness was taken to the extreme. So, with that said, please grab yourself a coffee, subscribe if you haven't yet, pull up a seat, and get ready for the deep dive.
I'm doing it right.
This is my list of the top 5
I'm always doing it right.
dangerous incels.
Coffee house crime. Timby
In
says
the dim-
definitely not us. Definitely not you guys. He's not talking
glow of
about you
flickering
guys.
screens. An underground
sure.
community simmers with unspoken rage.
Ardenshire says you could get a prescription for alcohol during Prohibition. Yeah, you can get a prescription for weed now, too. So nothing is really illegal. You just need to get a doctor to tell you that you need it. You can get meth. That's absolutely 100% true. You can get meth from a doctor if they say you need meth. You can get weed and I don't know, anything. What can't you get? Crocodile or some shit like that? I don't know.
And profound loneliness. Welcome to the incel community, folks. Now, I'm stating the obvious here, but it's in our DNA to want to feel loved. We all seek validation, affection, and nurture from other people.
Again, not talking about you guys. Not you guys. You guys do not need to feel loved. You have everything you need in the cult, and everything outside of that is scary, and you don't want to be a part of it.
And so, understandably, we all get lonely from time to time. While most of us are able to find the love that we require, for others, it is a never-ending cycle of isolation. For those who desperately crave love and affection, but unfortunately never seem to find it, some
Yeah, honey, I stay strapped. I stay strapped. That's what's up.
That's my gun.
That's your gun, right?
It's my gun.
I know. She's talking about the gun on my desk, and it's just there. It's always there.
eventually turn
It's
to the
always
incel
there.
community. Now, I don't need to tell you that for some problems or situations, this sort of community does work. If you've ever dealt with an upsetting illness or
Tim says, John, every time you say that, you're one of us, right? I try to ignore it. I
Experience,
try to
then-
push that out of my head and stuff. And yeah.
finding others who are going through the same
not
thing
working
can
so
be
far.
genuinely constructive. However,
working.
the incel community is not like this. And instead, some incels tend to perpetuate their negative thoughts into a never-ending echo chamber. In return, this validates some less favorable emotions.
This guy, Elliot Roger, he in this this video, he goes on his diatribe about being the perfect gentleman, and it is cringe fuel. If you haven't seen it before, oh, get ready. It is absolute cringe fuel. I hope we make it that far. I think it's pretty far down the line, but We'll see.
emotions,
We'll see.
including resentment and revenge. And all of this can spiral into the most
Scott says, I prefer cocaine to meth. You can get a doctor to prescribe you cocaine. I'm pretty sure.
lethal of consequences. In the year 2009, and before this community was even a blip on the internet, America would tragically wake up to a horrible shooting. A shooting conducted by a man who is known as the world's first violent incel, and his name was George Sedini, a man who apparently claims to have been rejected by more than 30 million women. Now, from the outside, George looked like a typical
30 million, bro. You've done 30 million, let's call them approaches, right? 30 million approaches, and you've been waved off every single time. Not likely. I mean, that's several thousand a day. I mean, it would have to be at least several thousand a day. And do you have time to like go to work or sleep or something like that? And if you even did 1,000, let's say over the course of a year, I would be very surprised. It depends on what kind of, he might be deeply autistic, right? Because it's not all about looks. Me and Jess were talking about this today. It's really not all about looks. I've seen like short guys, like 5'2", like slay, absolutely slay. And I've seen some like dog ass fucking ugly people, like dudes that pull respectable bitches, right? And I don't want to be disrespectful to bitches, so I'm not going to call them bitches. I will call them foids from now on, because that's what it says in the documentary.
man. At a height of 5'10", 155 pounds, and in shape for his age, he was a salaryman who worked
155 is pretty small, though. Let's be honest. 155 pounds, you're not like big by any stretch of the imagination. You're Captain America before he went into the science experiment.
for a local law firm and owned his own home. But sadly, as many of you will know, demons can exist in one's mental health, and they are seldom seen from the outside. So, let's start from the very beginning here. George Alfred Sedini was born on September the 30th, 1960, and grew up as part of a family of 5. And although his life at school was relatively
He
average,
seems like a creep, I'm not going to lie. In this Asian family's household where he took this picture, look at that picture right there. That is an Asian, so he's in some sort of Asian family house. And there's the horse from P.F. Chang's. I recognize it every time because they have those lettuce wraps and they fucking slap. Those lettuce wraps, oh, they're so good. It depends on the type of chicken, though, right? Because I've had bad ones. But what are you doing in that Asian person's house?
things were not so functional at home. According to him, his mother was a vicious, vindictive woman who was into power and control. And as for his father, he was apparently useless. He never talked to him or had a
Couch Turfing comes in with a lie and says there are some very attractive short kings out there, but they work at it, and that's what makes them attractive. Yeah, but I think we can all agree that once you get below a certain height, let's say 5'5", it gets pretty damn tough. It's not their fault. It's whatever, but I mean, pretty damn tough. You really got to be pulling some strings if you're like Frankie Muniz or something like that. But he has an Aston Martin, so that's going to pull the right strings.
Real relationship with his children, and this angered George quite considerably. Here is one important fact to make in light of this video, but George did have some success with women as a teenager. However, he would also claim that his brother did often try to embarrass him.
Arden Shire says the term incel implies they are unfamiliar with the concept of prostitutes. No, here's the thing. They are aware of prostitutes, and it's not like they're so broke they can't afford a prostitute. There is a lot of social stigma behind it. A lot of people come up religious and don't want to travel down that road. And, it's generally looked down upon to get the pickup hookers. I mean, understandably, of course. But so, or maybe they just don't have the balls to do it, right? They can't pick up normal women. So why would they have the balls to get a hooker? You know what I mean? So it is kind of involuntary, but it's not that they don't have the balls.
In front
You know?
of other girls. So, although we don't actually know what his family were like, it is clear that George
Couch Surfing says effort is important. Most incels are easily spotted. Not in the wild though, because they don't leave their house very often. But Jet, do you remember, honey? Do you remember that one time we were at Universal and we saw this one? He was like a fat incel, and he had like a loli shirt, and her face was like covered in cum, and it was like a kid's park. It was a kid's park, and he was like fat and sweaty and stuff like that, and decided to wear that out. I'm like, that's not helping your situation at all. That's not helping your situation one little bit. That's creepy, and you stick out like a sore thumb here, bro. I mean, he was with another one, but he was equally ugly, but he did not have the same shirt on. I think I don't remember, but it was the one that stood out. It was the one with the cum all over the face, and I think they were getting on the Minions ride.
did not have a great perspective on his family. Nevertheless, things seemed to be going smoothly for him in his younger adult years. He had multiple partners, a comfortable job, and was getting by just fine. But saying that, as we move forward to the year 2008, you will see just how much that changed.
Couch Surfing says even lady midgets want a tall boy. Yeah, like short women are the worst. Right? They have so much attitude, and you know, they really it's not worth it. It's, you know, and they always want somebody that's like 6'5", and you're like 5'2", 5 foot even, and then you got the mouth and stuff that you won't shut. You just won't shut. That's not having a wife or anything. That's having a pet. You know, when you have to like take it out and stuff, or else it like starts bitching at you and stuff. Yeah, that's no. Those are like two different species.
So, where do I begin with George as a man in his 40s? In short, by the year 2008, George had become a bitter man filled with loneliness, self-loathing,
Again, not you guys. Not you guys.
and misogyny. And
Okay, that is us. That is definitely us, though. The misogyny part, 100%. But come on. Can you really blame us? It's like, come on.
unfortunately,
Come
these
on.
three emotions will steer the rest of our story today.
Have you
George
tried
had
not
become
being
a very
misogynist?
isolated man, unable to find love
Your
or
life
even
will be destroyed. I guarantee you that. Try not to be a misogynist. Just once. And then your life will just turn into utter ruin.
a sexual partner.
It's not worth it.
He really desperately craved affection, yet was never able to find it. In fact, he even admitted that he hadn't had sex for over 18 long years, and hadn't slept next to a woman overnight since 1982, that being 26 years prior.
Okay, so he banged a chick 15 years ago prior, but did not sleep over. So he got his pants on and he left. Was that a hooker? Possibly. Quite possibly a hooker. Wow, that's a that's a long dry streak.
And this loneliness was ingrained into George's mood, mental health, self-identity,
Hey,
everything,
Alice.
to be honest. And over the following months, he became increasingly
Alice says, okay, I'm here, even though I'm on vacation again. Where are you at? Are you on? Well, I'm glad you showed up, because this is work. This is a cult meeting, and they're obligatory. They're, what's the other word? I don't know what the other word is, but you have to be here.
vocal about it. Beginning with George's outward appearance, he seemed to have absolutely everything together. As a systems analyst at his local law firm, K&L Gates, his responsibilities included analyzing and improving the performance of K&L.
He looks like a fucking weirdo. That's not a real mustache. What is up with this? What is that? What the hell is that?
Software. So he clearly was an intelligent guy. He was also known to attend the gym and regularly
Weirdly enough, chicks like intelligent dudes, for sure. Without a doubt. However, there's there's different types of intelligence. There's like somebody with the Riz, as it's said, but also like an autistic guy that can read 2 pages of a book at the same time, but he can't like wipe his ass all that well. And so, yeah, they're both smart, sure. But, you know, Rain Man is not getting much play. Most likely. Most likely. Some chicks are weird, though. I mean, some chicks fuck dogs, right? So why wouldn't they fuck Rain Man? Why wouldn't they do that? That's a legitimate question. That's a 100% legitimate question. There's tons of chicks on the internet that fuck dogs, apparently. You can't get one. You can't. And this dude ran through 30 million. I don't believe that. The numbers don't add up. 30 million in 4 years would be like one every. I don't do. You know, math is against the law.
Practiced boxing in his basement, and the most recent images of him showed that he was in good shape with no unattractive facial features. George,
what does that mean? No unattractive facial features. No unattractive facial. What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. I have no, like, a big nose, tiny eyes. His mouth is too small, or something like that. Acne. I don't know. Most women, here's a fact. Most women find most men reprehensible, disgusting, and unable to look at. Most women think most men are below average in looks, okay? So it's your job to trick them into thinking you're better than you look. That is the entire thing, right? We wouldn't even have brains if that wasn't the whole damn point.
Also owned his own home on
Tricking
Orchard
women
Spring
is
Road
the
in Scott
point.
Township. Since buying
And
this
it's
house
easy
for
to do,
$79,000,
right?
it is almost triple.
God gave us brains like twice the size, at least. Okay, so use them. This guy's using it for like math and shit. No, come on, man. Math isn't going to turn a chick on.
Value to an estimated $205,000 in the year 2023. He also had a new car on his driveway, so clearly.
Scott says a lot of women are afraid of facial hair. Get that shit waxed.
Clearly, the man was rolling in money.
You talking
Before
about like the
continuing our
mustache
story, it is worth bringing up his home video.
Okay, ladies. Would you? Would you? I don't know. This is a busted picture. Because he looks like a thumb. And no unattractive facial features. True. But the whole thing together is really bad. That's the thing, right? There's nothing specific about his face that you would point at and be like, oh, that's too much of that, whatever it is. But the whole thing together in a symphony of ugly, it's really bad. The whole thing is really bad. I don't know. He kind of looks like the Hamburglar out of his costume, out of his uniform. I don't know why I think the Hamburglar. That's a weird looking dude.
Because in his frustrated efforts to attract a woman, George made.
Alice says, that's going to be a no for me, dog. She didn't say dog, but I automatically read that as Randy.
The decision to give the world his very own house tour, uploading his 4-minute video to YouTube. And it's here that we get to take a first glimpse.
Couch Surfing says his head to neck ratio is upsetting. It was strange. That was too much neck and too much tiny head. And it not like how I have a pretty thick neck too, right? But my head is proportional to my neck. And a lot of guys have very thin necks. And that is not good looking either. So, but you can fix that. You can go to the gym and like basic exercise will make your neck thicker. It's true. It is true.
To the awkward world of George Sedini.
This is my house from the...
When me and Jess first started dating, she used to like to strangle me because I had a very thick neck. So she told me.
Street. Here is my car.
That's why.
This is a 2-bedroom...
I kept waking up with her trying to strangle me with her little bird hands. And I thought it was a dream. It wasn't. It was just Jess. But could never pull it off.
Ranch,
Couldn't pull it off.
conveniently located. My car is an '07 Altima. I paid $79,000.
Arden Cherry says it honestly depends how much money he has. Jeff Bezos is a walking circumcision and he's smashing daily. No. So Jeff Bezos has the worst taste of any rich person I've ever seen in my entire life. And that includes women, right? So he's probably, I don't think he's smashing as much as Elon, sure, right? He's pounding Sliz night and day. I mean, it shows by how many kids he has. Bezos, I don't think there's a lot of consensual going on in his sphere of influence, right? Or quasi, yeah, I would call it quasi, quasi, oh God, what was that word I just said? It doesn't matter. I don't think people are into banging Jeff Bezos. Yes, he has a lot of money, but then what? Like, he buys you things? I guess, but you have to have sex with Jeff Bezos, and he looks like a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He looks like a bad guy from a James Bond movie with like the bald head and like the eye that goes down a little bit like this. And you're a billionaire that has a rocket that looks like a penis, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? If you're trolling like the hardest troll that anybody has ever trolled, then bravo on you, sir. But I think that's just genuinely him. I think that's just, that's just him, dude. Sometimes supervillains are just born, and there's nothing you can do about it.
For this in 1996. That's considered a lot.
Hey, thought.
Believe it or not. Hey, we're approaching the door. Open it up. Oh.
Alice says, didn't his wife take a lot of his money? Yes, Mackenzie Bezos immediately became the richest woman on earth. Overnight, right? Overnight. She didn't do anything to build Amazon or anything like that. I'm pretty sure. But then she got like, I don't know, $40 billion. Some enormous amount of money. It was hundreds of billions of dollars. And yeah, now she doesn't have to listen to Jeff anymore. And I'm sure he was a fucking dick, right? I'm sure he yelled all day at Amazon and came home and yelled at his wife too. Because, your work kind of reflects your home life. You know what I mean? Like a cop goes out and beats up people all day long. What do you think he's going to do when he gets home? The same thing with like CEOs and stuff. So she was probably like, you know what? I'm just going to cut you in half and bail because I can do that. And she did. And she's probably pretty happy.
Someone left it unlocked. That's not
probably.
Good. Inside, okay. My big screen TV, 32-inch. It's my computer. Let me pan out a little bit. Computer is connected to the stereo, which I listen to my MP3s and everything else. Pan to the other side. Speakers on each side are large. They double as end tables. Okay, couch and chair, they match. The woman will really be impressed. Okay, come over here. There's some reading material that we're all familiar with.
It's worth mentioning here that this book, as seen on the table, is a copy of How to Date Young Women by the author R. Don Steele. Through this information, it is clear that George's loneliness and insecurity seemed bad enough for him to read books and research on how to date women.
That's definitely a red flag. That's a red flag right there. Because, I don't know, maybe those books work. I kind of doubt that. I 100% doubt that. But I'm sure sad people buy it. So, am I going to write a how to pick up chicks book? Yes, I will. And I'll be selling it on the Sulk store. And it won't be good advice. I'll have to warn you. It won't be good advice. It'll be intentionally misleading, in fact. Because anyone who would buy that book, I don't trust. I'm not going to trust you. especially with the knowledge that I behold. It's too strong. My kung fu is too strong, and you're not going to be responsible with it. So I'm going to give intentionally misleading advice in that book. And if you see somebody out there giving French fries to people, they probably read my book. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the book. Buy it. 1995 paperback.
Come out here through the dining room.
It's already out.
I just bought
It's already out.
Dining room set, rug, okay. Little hallway, 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms. To the right is my bedroom. Extra computer here, they're networked. I'll show you the Cat 5 connections downstairs.
Just to be picky here, I don't think any woman would be interested in Cat 5 Ethernet cables, George.
Hold on. Are you telling me you have like broadband, like high data load Cat 5 Ethernet cables? Dude. No, I don't give a shit either. It's whatever. Women aren't even going to know what that is. 95% of women won't know what that is. At least. And the ones that do are probably autistic. And if that's your bag, then that's your bag. You know, autistic bitches need love too. Let's be honest and fair. Just because you became autistic, I'm not going to say you were born autistic, but maybe you were. Just because you are currently on the autism spectrum does not mean that you necessarily have to date somebody who is also on the autism spectrum. I can be considered on that spectrum. I don't know if Jess can, but it's very possible that she can be. So I don't know if we're the best example, but I think there has to be a limit, right? If she can't be too retarded, you know. Half your IQ plus 7. That's what we're gonna do.
However, this dialogue does highlight his peculiarity and socially awkward tendencies, which of course may eventually put women off.
Okay,
I know that equals out to like, I don't know. If a man has 100 IQ, that's a woman with a 57 IQ, which sounds okay to me, right? I'm pretty sure that's below like a chimpanzee, but again, that's fine.
Pretty clean.
57
I'm sure
IQ.
she'll be impressed. Now this back bedroom I use just for storage. A lot of junk here.
Hey, Steak.
You know, as we could see.
Steak, I knew you'd show up. She was like, I'm not going to be there. I'm like, you're going to fucking be
bottles
there.
of cologne and
you kind of nowhere else to be.
Change and shoebox full of old
And we're doing incels tonight, Steak. We're doing incel stuff, right? So this is hot fire. Good thing you're here.
Pictures and photographs and stuff, and come over here and there's CDs and all kinds of electronic gear I bought since joining the list, tapes and so on. A pen.
Alice says I have to go to a dance party soon. What? As an adult? That seems weird. I mean, you do you. I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to go to a dance party. I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to dance.
Pan out a little bit. Could take a quick walk through back here, through the living room, the hallway. Here's the kitchen.
This dude has a nice pad though, right? Would bitches be, femoids, foids. Referring to them as bitches is not polite. Foids. Femoids. Female robots. Female androids. That's what that's short for. Foids or femoids. And it makes sense. I mean, have you guys ever met like a basic bitch? You guys know what I'm talking about. The basic bitch. The basic ass bitch with like, you know, words in her kitchen, and she like likes wine and stuff like that. Blonde usually. They seem like robots. They seem like they're very similar to each other. So maybe female androids is not the worst title for them. I'm just saying, maybe not. Maybe not the worst.
Stove and counter and everything I need. Just cleaned it up. All the cupboard space I need. Okay, I like here, you just come out here, there's a room with a view. My backyard and everything. Okay, let's go down the cellar.
George's home was both tidy and
In the cellar, there's a lot of bodies of women that I met on Tinder, and they rejected me, and so I killed them.
organized, with no telltale signs of a dysfunctional man. The weirdest part about all of this was the video itself, actually. It felt like he was advertising himself as a person, thus feeling
Couch Surfing says live, laugh, love, and then Eat Steak says the herpes of home decorating. It's so cringe. It's like terrible, man. And like when you see an apartment or a house decorated in a very specific way, you're all like, oh, this bitch is insufferable, isn't she? She's just a nightmare to be around. And her husband, he just doesn't want to really be alone, but he just gets yelled at and yelled at and yelled at. You can tell, right? You can tell.
rather uncomfortable to
I can tell.
watch.
Well, that about sums it up.
Up until this point, George had mostly kept most of his thoughts and his feelings offline. But soon, that was all about to change. Now, if you remember that book found on his coffee table, that was written by a man named Ardon Steele. And this guy was not just an author, but also a dating guru. And this guy has some very abstract perspectives. He taught these men that all nice guys must die, that all women above the age of 30 are bitter, and that all women need men to take charge. And unfortunately,
Jess is above 30, but she's not bitter. She's just kind of cranky sometimes. She's not bitter about, well, we're married with kids and stuff, so she doesn't have to be bitter. But if you're single and like you've been trying for a long time, you'd probably be bitter. But again, that's not everybody else's fault. That's you as a woman being too picky or just an awful person to be around, right? Just an awful, awful person to be around. And you might not think that you're an awful person to be around, but you are, dude. You are. You suck, dude. So you're just putting up your signs that say live, laugh, love, and nobody wants to do those things with you.
Fortunately, George was a devout follower of Steele. In fact, he was seen attending multiple seminars of his, which usually taught men how to greet and speak to women. It's a shame, though, that the narrative behind those lessons was so rotten.
Couch Surfing says, if I didn't have kids by now, I would be bitter. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but you have kids now. So
I'm not even kidding here. Watching these seminars felt...
Oh, is this a training for like a how to speak to women? Is that what this is? Because this is going to be funny to watch.
like the old school version of Andrew Tate. I couldn't stomach watching all of it, but at one point, the advice given was to treat confident women like shit. Because apparently that's what they find attractive. Honestly, this stuff is garbage.
Well, Jess approached me, so I didn't have to like really treat her like garbage. Until I wanted her to marry me. Then I was all like, you're never going to find anybody better. And then she was like, okay. And then we got engaged.
During these videos, George could be seen aimlessly looking around during the workshops.
It worked out, guys.
I mean, he looked
out.
like a zombie in a work shirt, quite frankly. It was noted that he was reticent, shy, and reserved throughout these workshops. And although he was known to take many notes in class, he never actually loosened up with the women around him. As the months moved on, his frustration grew to...
JD says this is a middle-class English accent. So... there's the lower Cockneyed accent, which, JD, whenever I read your tweets, I always read it in this, like, gruff Cockneyed accent, even though I've never heard your voice before, but it's a very specific voice. I don't know who the voice belongs to, but it is clear as a bell in my head. It is clear as a bell. And don't send me a voice recording. Please, 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 please don't do that, because I want to retain that fantasy. Please. Please. But this is middle class, huh?
Unbearable levels. The man became an ever-contrasting figure of long-lasting hopelessness and fresh determination.
Again, not you guys. You're not you guys. Not a one of you.
George had no confidence in himself at all.
Not you guys.
But, all the same, the ridiculous seminars and unrealistic books made him
However, the cult can bring you that confidence you need to capture women in your basement. Because that's what they really want, right? That's what these incels really want. They don't want like a relationship. Relationships are hard, dude. Especially when you have them for a very long time. Because shit happens all the time, right? Shit happens all the time. And then you need to, the both of you need to have the skills to smooth it over enough to where, you know, you can continue it. And that's the healthiest of relationships. I've seen unhealthy relationships last a long time too, where it's like the woman has the absolute say and controls the entire relationship, and that's just it. Or the man, right? One person controlling way too much is not a healthy relationship. It's not. I mean, if you don't fight, how are you in a relationship at all? So these guys don't want relationships. They want to keep women in a cage down in their cellar, which is fair. I understand. I really do. But it's against the law, man. That's just it. It's just against the law. So you got to find a way around that. And what you have to do is you have to put a cage around her mind, not her body. It's a lot simpler.
behave in ways which typically bore little
success.
success. And that is when he created and posted this video online, openly expressing his conflicted feelings of both hope and frustration.
It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day. Take a long drive in the car, listen to some music, daydream.
He's a psychopath. He's a psychopath. This is what psychopaths say. This is right before they shoot up a mall or something like that.
Or just do some mundane task around the house that really doesn't need to be done, that's not too important. And there you go, one more day. And one more day turns into one more year. Now, RDS...
Oof. Oof. Oh, no. Oh. Big oof, though. One more day turns into one more year, and then you're just gritting and bearing it, and you're not thriving or anything. You're just enduring. And so you're just like, just one more year, just one more decade, and then hopefully you'll die of a brain tumor or something. A heart attack? My Lord. That sounds so unpleasant. No wonder he snapped.
Yes, says that I have approximately maybe 15 more years to be successful at this. And when I heard that, I wanted to continue immediately to start moving on this. I didn't realize I had that much time. So my objective is to be real and to learn to be emotional and to be able to emotionally connect with people. Because when I'm 10 to 20 years older than she is, she has to feel good about this thing.
20? I'm not gonna bag on like age gap relationships, although you're not rich enough for a 20-year gap. You are just nowhere near that.
And the only way around that, is to work on this. And perhaps...
Ardenshire says the Sulkiverse, an offshoot of the Manosphere. I'm married with children, Ardenshire. And so are you. So are you. How is this anywhere never mind.
STEM exercises or forgiveness exercises as per Hay or whatever else. I'm going to post this and see what comes back.
Nothing. Not a thing. Nothing.
Despite his
Nothing. No one is going to be interested in you. Never. You too. This guy is like, he's so gay. I'm sorry.
determination, George continued to scare women away. In fact, one of his most notable moments happened inside of a church.
He looks like an FTM. You guys know what I mean? Like an FTM. Like that is not like this is from hormones and stuff. He looks like he's FTM.
Ever since March 2004, he'd been attending a local church, but as the years passed by, others in attendance noticed his strange behaviour towards women. He was eventually asked to leave the congregation after he was harassing one of those attending. This woman described him as a very strange man with an unnerving smile who wouldn't stop staring. The police were
Couch Surfing says definitely would assume it's a woman on T. I wouldn't though. I would, because you can very clearly notice what a woman on T. A woman on T will go out of her way to act exceptionally masculine in the most cliche ways possible, like flipping a chair around and then like spreading her legs and like, let's rap, dude, or like they just see it's cartoonish almost the way they try to act like men, but not how men actually act, how men in movies or how they assume men act. And it's sad. It's really sad. But it's pretty clear every time, every single time. They still have woman brain, right? You don't get rid of woman brain when you have a bunch of testosterone in your system. It may make them a little smarter, but it's not going to cure woman brain, you know.
ultimately called after George refused
that's a
to leave the
chronic
church.
condition.
And as you'll see later on in this video,
And it gets worse.
this would be a day that he would not forget. Around this time, George opened his own blog under his domain of georgesadini.com. And although he was reserved in those workshops, he would really open up about his feelings and thoughts on his website. His first noteworthy
Alice says, Jess, you should have seen this man type thing at the water park today. Pukey face. Ew.
post began on
Ew.
December the 22nd, 2008. In his blog, he wrote, "Time is moving along. Planned to have this done already.
Hold
I
on,
will
hold
just
on.
keep a running log here as time." In his blog,
There we
he
go. Okay. Really? What? You ladies will not do this. You would not go to town on this this jelly bean kind of shaped. That is an upsetting amount of neck, right? It's a lot of neck, and it's a very small head. And maybe you should do something with your hair that's not that. I don't know, man. This is a low hand. You know, if we were playing cards, you would be a bunch of ones and twos. Not ones because those are aces, but like twos and threes. Not much I could work with. Not a lot.
wrote, "Time is moving along. Planned to have this done already. I will just keep a running log here as time passes. Many of the young girls here look so beautiful as to not be human. Very edible.
Very edible.
After joining this gym, started lifting weights and like
Oh, it's a gym. It's a gym. That's great. That's a good step. But dude, he's probably so creepy at the gym. Because women go to the gym to pick up dudes. I mean, that's clear. And they wear very revealing, very tight stuff oftentimes. And so this guy not being laid in over 2 decades or something like that, he's probably mincing. He's probably like drooling on the floor and stuff, and like doesn't know how not to stare. He's probably the creep, and every Boyd in there talks about him.
it. Much info about weight programs, diet, etc. on the web, or anything for that matter. Instead,
You know what I do when I go to the gym? I intentionally ignore people. I make sure I put my headphones on outside before I open the door, right? And so when I walk in, I have my headphones on. I don't want to fucking talk to you. I don't want to fucking talk. Jess talks to everybody. She strikes up conversations with people all the time. Or they strike up conversations with her. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be there. I mean, I want to be there, but I want to do what I came to do and then leave. I'm not going to hang out there, all right? It's not my hangout spot. I just go and then I have my headphones on, so don't talk to me. Don't fucking talk to me. Don't. And people are pretty receptive to that.
Instead of TV, I can Google for many hours to relax. TV and most movies are dull. Sadly, it is clear that George's mental health deteriorated over the Christmas period. Over Christmas of 2008, he posted, "Moving into Christmas again. No golf."
Critical Thought says, me sees amputees, burn victims, people with giant cancerous growths, midgets, no reaction. Also me sees prunes, because I'm on YouTube now, so I can't say certain things. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make some sort of money. Cannot hide look of disgust. I know. yeah. Because everybody else in the Walmart also looks like that. We saw one in the Walmart, and it was like obvious.
Friend since 1984. Last Christmas with Pam was in 1983. Who knows why? I am not ugly or too weird. No sex since July 1990 either. I was 29. No shit. Over 18 years ago. And did it maybe only 50 to 75 times in my life. Getting to think that a woman now would just get in the way of things. Isolated. I have extra money and enjoy traveling too, with my 25 to 30 days of vacation. LA was the best. But going...
You go to LA for vacation? Boo. 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 LA? No. No, no, that's a bad... Go somewhere where you might get laid. Go to Eastern Europe or something. Ukraine or go to Southeast Asia or something like that. It depends on what you're into, obviously. But in like Eastern European chicks, they can be very attractive, right? And they don't cost much. And I mean, as long as you can get over like the language and stuff like that, you're golden, man. They'll marry you and probably touch your pee-pee and stuff for at least the 2 years until they get the green card. And then you just keep doing that because there's no limit on how many people you can marry. That's a pro tip. So go get out there. Don't go to LA where the worst women on the planet live. You know what the type of chicks in LA? So there's like the supermodel or the wannabe supermodel who was 98% silicone. And then there is the underlings, which are the uggos, which is actually the vast majority. And they're extremely liberal. They're extremely liberal. And they're fat too. They're all fat. And that's about it. The real hot ones are already spoken for in a million ways that you would not even. So LA is not the place. LA is not the place. And I know you're going on vacation not to see LA, but you're trying to get bitches. I can't help but call them bitches.
Going alone was not too fun.
Don't
Invited
go
to
to
a party
LA.
on Christmas Day tomorrow. Seems about 15 to
sucks.
25 people will actually show. I like her parties. I can meet new people and talk. Got the next 8 days off. I should have the exit plan done and practiced by then. I know that nothing will change, no matter how hard I try or what goals I set. And this is where I have to tell you what George precisely meant as an exit plan. Because, as you can likely guess, it wasn't the good kind. By now, George had convinced himself that he was destined to die alone and that he would never be intimate with a woman again. And so, with that in mind, he figured, why bother living? But George...
Alice says, I don't talk to people unless I've been drinking. Me too. Yeah, me too. I mean, but we're great fun when we're like out drinking. Me and Jess, hey, if you guys want to come and like meet us and like take us out for drinks and stuff, we're not against that. We're a lot of fun, and we do great karaoke, and yeah, we're fun. So Not swingers, though. No, we do not do that.
Didn't plan to go quietly.
No,
Oh,
thank you.
In fact, he'd
But
become
we're
so
fun
enraged
besides
with other
that.
women and their decision to date other men that he wanted them to pay for his suffering. And so, this so-called exit plan was for George to head to the gym and then take out as many lives as possible before taking his own. On December the 28th, George posted on his online blog to say that he would shoot for Tuesday the 6th of January 2009. And remember, all of these posts were publicly visible. He then posted one day later saying, "I actually look good. I dress good. I'm clean shaven. Bathe. Touch of cologne." Yet 30 million women rejected me over an 18 or 25 year period. That is how I see it. 30 million is my rough guesstimate of how many desirable single women there are. And this type of life I see is a closed world with me
30 million of desire in the world. Okay, so 30 million's a lot. I guess. I mean, it depends on what you think are attractive. 30 million, though. I mean, it might be way less than that. It might be way less than that. It's like, it might be way less than that. I don't know. 30 million kind of seems high. But if you're doing the whole world, who am I to say that there's not 30 million hot chicks? I'm sure, but it's just like, once you whittle everything out, it's probably like the one suitable for you, right? Sure, there's lots of hot women out there. Don't get me wrong. But the ones that are like suitable for you, you really start cutting it down, right? With like age and religion, if that's important for you, and other factors. And especially if you live in like, I mean, you're going to live in a city, right? You're not going to have access to 30 million. No, you're going to get the ones that live in the city. So geography is also very important. And when you whittle all that stuff down, it's maybe a couple dozen in your region that are suitable for you to take up and that have no major flaws that would be deal breakers for you. It can be tough. And they would have to be interested in you. So that takes the couple dozen down to 0. So tough. That's tough.
specifically
tough.
and totally excluded.
Hey, Amanda.
Flying solo for many years as a destroyer.
Amanda, would you
Yet
bang
many
this
people
guy?
say I am easy
Just
to get
wait.
along with.
He looks like
Looking
a thumb.
back,
You'll see.
I owe nothing to desirable females who ask for anything except basic courtesy, usually. He would post again only 3 days later.
Would you? I mean, this is a better picture of him, but he looks like a fucking serial killer, doesn't he? He looks like a fucking serial killer.
To honorably mention his family, removing the names and addresses for privacy. In this post,
We're talking about incels, Amanda, and so this is the internet's most dangerous incels. So we're talking about incels, and I think we're making some progress.
he describes his father as a useless sperm donor, his mother as
I mean, you're here. I guess you're useless.
dominant, and his brother as a bully. George also claimed in these honorable mentions that his pastor allegedly
No,
taught
we are
him
not arranging an orgy. Eat Steak says we're arranging an orgy. We're not doing that. No, I don't know how many times I have to say this. We are not a sex cult.
that you can still
Okay.
go to heaven even after
Stop
committing
trying to
mass
make it a
murder.
sex
I mean,
cult. Stop trying to make it a sex cult. Stop it. I said no.
to say that this is categorically
All right.
untrue and was likely left in spite of making his pastor feel guilty after his exit plan. Side note, but he
Amanda says, I have been on a Kevin Costner movie deep dive because I suddenly find him attractive. He's got some good movies. I'm not going to lie.
also mentioned his acquaintance Andy
Waterworld was not one of them.
as a hypocritical idiot.
But for
On
some reason, I find it nostalgic and I'll watch it for some reason.
the day before his planned attack, he posted,
Eat Steak says John is a party pooper. Because it's an orgy and it's a scat orgy. So I'm pooping on a glass table and then all of you guys are all bunched up underneath it watching the poop hit the table.
tomorrow should be
You guys
good.
are sick.
Life is just playing
You
games.
guys are sick.
No matter how
I don't play like that's not how I party.
many changes
You
I
guys are
try to
gross.
make, things always stay the same. I see 20-something couples everywhere. I think those years slipped
Critical Thought says when he cut that chick's hair in Waterworld, that got me hot for some reason. Thank you, Thought.
right by for me. Why should I continue another 20 plus years
Well, we know thought is crazy.
alone? I will
Crazy.
just work, come home,
That was like the most abusive part, right? Oh, when Kevin Costner hit her on the head with a paddle and knocked her unconscious, that really turned me on. Yeah, we get it. We get it,
eat,
thought.
maybe do something, then go to bed alone for the next day of the same thing. I cannot wait for tomorrow. But the next day, George had a sudden change of heart at the very last moment. He posted on his blog once again to say, "It's 8:45 p.m. I chickened out. Shit. I
What?
brought the loaded guns. Everything. Hell."
Go away, pop-ups.
We can only assume that George reevaluated his life in those final moments before then going home and posting about it online, because after this, he would go radio silent for several months. This is probably because George realized that, surprise surprise, life wasn't actually that bad after all. He had a good job, was healthy, owned his own home, and went on holiday often.
See, that's fine. You can have all those things, but if you're like a mental case, that's not going to matter, right? It's just not going to matter because you're a mental case. So, yeah, you're just a mental case. You don't even need all that stuff to really be happy either. Like, I know I've met a lot of people in my lifetime that don't have shit, and you think they would be bummed. And I mean, they seem fine. I can't imagine them being that happy, though. But who knows? Sometimes people are just happier, right? I don't get it. Maybe they're stupid or something. That would be my guess. But sometimes people just seem happier. Or are they just so much smarter than me that they figured it out that all this bullshit is meaningless anyway, so you might as well just be happy? I mean, if you have that kind of like awareness and control, and you can do that, then you're some sort of Christ-like figure. But most people can't do that. Most people cannot do that. If you can be the Buddha and sit under a Bodhi tree for 30 years meditating and stuff, and you're like, do it. Do that. Most people can't do that.
The only thing missing really was a partner. But in April of 2009, he posted that his company was
bye,
sadly
steak.
going through layoffs, and in his pessimistic attitude, believed that he would not survive the next one. Between April and August of that year,
Wait. Alice is leaving. Bye, Alice? Oh, okay. She says, okay, y'all, it's been fun. I got to go to a dance party and then the arcade. Huh. What? Are you like 13?
he would log an additional 14 entries to his diary.
Hey,
And
Chewie.
yeah, I'm not going to read all of that out loud, as would be here all day, but here are the most noteworthy excerpts.
Couch Turfing says, I love ovulating. Ugh.
April 24th. I predict I won't survive the next.
I love throwing in comments without any context because a lot of times I read them out of context. So people that watch this on like the playback, they must be lost. So if you're watching this on not live, try to make it to a live. Try to make it to a live and then donate by, please donate. But try to make it to a live. You get a lot more context. I don't read every comment.
Next layoff. That is when there is no point to continue. Right now, life is bearable and I can get by indefinitely. Something bad must happen.
JD Grabs says arcade. It's like a place where you go and play video games. Like electronic video games. There's a screen and you like move a joystick and like a little yellow guy goes wop, 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 and there's ghosts and stuff. It's very complicated.
The paycheck
Very
is all I
complicated.
have left. May the 4th. What is it like to be dead? I always think I'm forgetting something. That's one reason why I postponed. Similar to when you leave to get in your car to go somewhere, you hesitate with a thought, what am I forgetting? In
Eat Steak says, I'm in my midlife horny period. It's bad.
this case, I cannot make a
This is the chat is taking a weird turn on this. We were talking about incels. Oh, look, Steak. We were talking about incels, and then all the bitches in the chat were like, oh, I'm horny. Why? Thank you for that. That's the bell. $5 says, nips or no more money. What the fuck? So what the fuck, dude? That's not even. I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, there. I don't even know why. I feel gross now.
A return trip. May the 18th. I
I feel I'm gonna go cry in the shower now.
actually had a date today. Women just don't like me. There are 30 million
Degrading. That
desires.
was degrading. Eat steak. You made me expose myself for money, and that was degrading. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to live with myself, especially for $5 fucking dollars.
Women in the US, and I cannot find one. Not one of them finds me attractive. May the 29th, another lonely Friday night. I'm done. This is too much. June the 5th, I was reading several posts on
Then go out. It's Friday night and you're just hanging out, writing your blog. Go out and do something. They're not going to come to your house like that, right? You need to go out and go and meet Alice at the arcade. Go and meet Alice at the arcade. There you go, buddy. Take a fistful of quarters and go to the arcade, and then maybe something will happen.
different forums, and it seems that many teenage girls have sex frequently. One 16-year-old does it usually 3 times a day with her boyfriend. So, after a month of that, this little hoe has had more sex than me in my entire life, and I'm 48.
That's true. That's definitely true.
One more reason.
Jesus Christ, though. Oh my God. Oh, that's so uncomfortable.
Thanks for nada, bitches. Bye. On July the
That's
20th,
so
George
uncomfortable.
commented about getting a promotion and a raise. But straight after this, he then immediately pivoted to talk about how bad the economy is, and how the man hasn't slept with a woman in over 20 years. Now, this is a very important detail to realize. Despite previously being worried about the layoff, the exact opposite happened to him with a promotion and
Couch Stuffing says, well, we're talking nips and horny, so Alice is in. We are talking about incels. And for some reason, this perverted ass chat, which is mostly women now, decided to turn it into something sexual, which something horny, very horny. And then what did you're talking about your boobs? There's women talking about their boobs in my chat. And it's not the place. It's not the time or the place. Okay. Right. And I'm sure it would blow this guy's mind that women just come and they talk about their boobs and stuff. Yeah. But it's not like Couch Surfing called hers working dogs, not show dogs. So it's not, it's not like, oh, my boobs are so soapy. No, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. It's more like working on a farm.
raise in the end. But despite
shit.
the positive change, he does
Okay,
not
all
seem
right.
to care anymore. This
Hold
means
on.
that George continuously focused on the negativities in his life, thus further
He's a
thrusting
very
him
negative guy. There's another bell. And Mando for $20. Thank you so much. Just because I'm drunk and horny and I watch this guy's videos a lot, he's a good YouTube channel to follow. Okay, cool. This guy specifically? Are you talking about me? What are you talking about?
into the darkness
for the
of his
$20.
own mind. July 23rd. Wow. I just looked out of my front window and saw a beautiful college-age girl leave Bob Fox's house. I guess he got a good lay today. College girls are hoes. I masturbate frequently. He is about 40.
That's your first problem, right? You shouldn't be doing that. There's a reason religions tell you not to masturbate, especially frequently. It's like, it's going to drain everything out of you. You're not going to have like the eye of the tiger, and like everything then becomes a relation to sex too, right? Like if you're constantly have sex in your brain, when you go out into the normal world, then you're just going to like look at women and you're going to be like, oh God, I'd fuck that. And that's a lot of men. Don't get me wrong, but you kind of have to like push that down, right? If you want to have any sort of social graces whatsoever, you have to put that on the back burner. So, you jerking off all the time, it's not going to help. Not even a little bit.
5 years old. She was a long
There's
head.
some good advice in this show. This show that I'm doing, that I am giving, I'm going to say it is good advice. Sometimes I give good advice. But remember, sometimes I give intentionally misleading advice too. So that's for you guys to decide.
Hot little hottie with a beautiful body. I masturbate frequently. Some were simply meant to walk a lonely path.
Look at this. Rolling in now. Fuck yeah. Ardenshire. Add another bell. Let's rewind it just in case I get another one. Maybe I will. Ardenshire at $10 says, I don't want people to get the impression I'm not also horny. Here's dollars. We are, okay, everybody is on the same level. Can we agree that everybody in the chat is just so horny right now, all right? Just like sopping / rock hard. Super bricked up. My chat is bricked.
Than life.
Okay,
Thanks,
let's
Mum
just
and
agree.
brother,
We're all
and
bricked
Dad,
up.
Old man, for totally ignoring
So
me through the
bricked up.
years. All of you deeply helped me be this way. George never considered why a younger woman may have left his
Amanda says, as a woman who is straight, I look at women as if I would fuck them. Yeah. I've said this before a million times. All women are bisexual, right? All women are bisexual. No men are bisexual, right? There's only homosexual men, but all women are bisexual. So there's no straight women. Like if you're cool enough, you can get 2 chicks to kiss. It's pretty, I mean, it depends on how cool you are, right? And like them, of course, too. But any 2 women at all, Ellen DeGeneres and Whoopi Goldberg, you can make them kiss. Would you want to? No, of course not. But you can. So you have that power. But men, if a man has sex with another man, he is gay. He's not, oh, I have sex with men, but I also like women. No, you were just gay, bro. You're just a gay dude that has sex with women sometimes. You're not bisexual. All women are bisexual because it comes from centuries, millennia of being war brides, in which we would make you do things to each other for our enjoyment, and we would laugh and drink and sing songs.
his neighbor's home. He never contemplated
Oh, God, I wish I was a Viking. God. It seems so. I don't care if I only live to 30. Would be a cool 30 years.
if she were a colleague, family member,
It'd be a
friend,
cool 30 years.
saleswoman, or even another neighbor
Blip.
who had knocked on his door to complain.
Quincy's.
George was unable to look at anything in a positive manner. He assumed the absolute worst in every
Quincy's Finest says, welcome to the chat, Quincy. What if a guy sucks his own dick, but that's it? What if lets a guy suck his dick gay?
situation,
It's
especially
not that
when
hard.
it came
It's not fucking rocket science, dude. Come on.
to women. These self-destructive tendencies likely stem from deep-seated self-confidence issues, which we already are familiar with.
Amanda says, I have a hole hygiene thing. What's wrong with your hole?
Either way, he did nothing
dirty?
to address these issues with a therapist or a
that what you mean?
psychologist. After attending ridiculous alpha male workshops, he let his
Obedient to Yah says, yes, Nick Fuentes is gay. Apparently so. Is that a real video? Was that a real video with him and Dream? Or was that AI? Because you never know these days. You never know. I didn't watch it. Of course I did not watch it. But I heard it was them getting gay. Is that real? Why?
his own thoughts consume him, and although he had backed out of his violent plans several months prior, he would tragically recommit to them in the summer of 2009. In his final written entry, which is dated August the 3rd, George said the following: "I took off today and tomorrow to practice
Ardenshire says, on the guy's side, it's simple. Even prolonged eye contact is gay. Don't do it. All right. Look me in the eyes. Did you do it? Did you guys do it? Who did it? Tell me And be fucking real. Be honest. Who looked me in the eyes? Who looked me dead in the eyes? Say it. Say, I am gay in the chat.
Practice my routine and make sure it is well polished. I need to work out every detail here. There is
Mr. Blue says I can't. I'm autistic, which is fair. But that doesn't mean you're not gay. That just means you have, like, trouble socializing.
only one shot. Also,
look at
I need
that.
to be completely immersed into something before I can be successful. I haven't had a drink since
Another
Friday.
bell.
About two.
I love that. Thank you. Manda, $5 again. Says, no, I said I won't go down on another woman because I have a hygiene thing. I love my own pussy, but other women scare me. That's fair. Did somebody ask that? It's weird information to volunteer, but thanks for the $5.
2:30. Total effort needed.
So what would you do? Peg? Would you? I'm just because she said she looks at a woman in public and she's like, yeah, I'd fuck that, but you're not gonna go down on them or anything like that. So what are you gonna do? You scissor? 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 I don't know. Would you let them? We got to get away from this topic.
Tomorrow
We
is
have
the
to get
big
away
day.
from this
Maybe soon I will see
topic.
God and Jesus. At least that is what I was told. Eternal life does not depend on works. If it did, we would all be in hell.
Obedientia says John has one gay eye if you look close enough. Yeah, it's my brown eye. It's my butt. That's my butt.
I will try not to add any more entries because this computer clicking distracts me. Also, any of the practice papers left on my coffee table are used, or the notes in my gym bag can be published freely. I will not be embarrassed because, well, I will be dead. Death lives.
Amanda says, what if the pussy smells bad? I'm out there. Yeah, that's a no-go. That's a, ugh. No. That's, I mean, if your pussy smells bad, you should be aware of that. You should be hyper aware of that. And if you're not, then you're a chick who is not aware that her pussy stank. So that's a no-go. That's a no-go. That's a very clear no-go.
It is almost
There's like flies buzzing around. Ew.
unbelievable that these journal entries were publicly visible for more than 9 months on his website. Although it's unclear how much traffic this website received.
Critical Thought says pussy should smell like a secret cask of bodily wine. That's a very strange. What does that smell like? Do I know? Because I've never smelt a cask of bodily wine. Don't know what that is.
In those 9 months, it was evident early on that George posed a risk to human life. What I do find quite odd is that, even in his final journal, he almost sounded like
Mr. Blue says, I will straight up vomit on your pussy. Do not test me.
he was forcing himself to go ahead with these plans.
What was that in relation to? I don't know. You're going to have to find out.
Talking about avoiding distractions and remaining focused. But George was fully convinced this time. And tragically, the very next day, on August the 4th, 2009, he travelled to his gym and executed his plan.
Background noise sense only once have I turned it down, and that's because it smelled worse than my work boots. That's funny. I'm sorry. That's very funny.
On the morning of this fateful day, George travelled to the Great Southern Shopping Centre in
Because we all know what that smells like. Every man knows what that smells like. If you've been in boots for a long time and then you take them off, you're like, oh my god. It's fuck, ew.
Collier Township. He entered the gym at around 11 AM, just to leave it shortly after. Returning in the evening, he headed to a local restaurant just across the parking lot. At 7:40,
If your pussy smells worse than your ass, that's a big red flag too. I mean, if your ass stinks, it's gross, dude. Like, don't.
p.m., he then re-entered the gym
Who are all these stinky bitches?
before
Where are they?
once again leaving. And that is when he called his mum, of all people. This phone call remained civil, and George allegedly
Couch surfing says you're ovulating, Manda. So she's the hoe whisperer. She knows when bitches be ovulating. Can women tell when other women are ovulating? I know men can, but on a subconscious level. And I swear that's true. I swear that's true. Right? I don't know if it's a pheromone or maybe some sort of like look they have in their face, but I swear that is true.
He expressed no intention to harm or kill anyone. Shortly before 8 p.m. though, the call was over. He then returned to LA Fitness, entering the gym at 7:50.
Critical Thought says underwear is an oppressive patriarchal device I reject. Women underwear doesn't do anything. Women's underwear, what is that? It's a string and it's a little patch of cloth. That doesn't do anything, right? My underwear keeps my like junk from like flopping around too much or like getting into a situation or like sticking to my leg or something. It has women's underwear are like a woman that doesn't have boobs, but she still wears a bra. You don't need that bra. You have no boobs, right? It'd be like a man wearing a bra. I don't need a bra. I don't have boobs. So why is a woman wearing underwear? I don't get it. I don't see the point.
6 p.m. Now, it's unclear what he did for the next 18 minutes, but at 8:14 p.m., he traveled to the far left of the gym's first floor and entered the aerobics room. During this time, the room was filled with...
Ardenshire says, when did this turn into Chatterate? Where was that line exact? I don't know, dude. I kind of want to blame Manda for it, but Steak has her own. Everyone's been chipping in, and it got hot. It got hot in this chat. It really did. And we were talking about incels and how people don't get laid, and then everybody in the chat were like, "This is a sex cult. Show us your nips."
With members taking a
Weird.
yoga class.
And then they started throwing money at me. This is weird.
George then placed the duffel bag down on the ground, turned the lights off, took out 2 handguns,
Why?
and then began firing into the crowd of 20 people. A total of 52 shots were fired with 2 Glock semi-automatic pistols, with all of these shots being reported to last for just over 1 minute. People outside of the aerobics room soon caught on to what was happening. In a panic,
Damn.
many fled through the front door and fire exit, and witnesses recall hearing dozens of pops and screams.
He did not like the LA Fitness. And if he went to Planet Fitness, I would blame him less. You know, I would blame him less. Because maybe they hit him with the lunk alarm. And it was just embarrassed him. So he's just, I'm going to shoot up this gym. You know what it was? There was, and he already said this, right? There was tons of beautiful women there. And they wouldn't give him the time of day. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to make Swiss cheese out of you bitches. And that's how it happened. That's how it
Moments
happened.
later, he pulled out a .45 caliber revolver
Okay, hold on.
and took his own life. When the police entered the gym, they would find his body over that weapon. Officers also found a 4th handgun in his pocket and a hand...
Okay, all right, whatever. Here we go. And the bell for Amanda again for $5. Thank you so much. Oh, so I come in your chat. So I come in and your chat gets horny. You're welcome. It's not all you, Amanda. It's not. Because Thought's here. She's stirring the pot too. She's like, oh, I don't wear underwear. Why do you have to add that, Thought? Why do you got to throw that in? What are you trying? Come on.
handwritten note in his duffel bag.
It's
And
all
although
y'all.
it's not clear what this note
It's
says,
all you
it
fucking perverts. And like, I try real hard, every day, to not make this a sex cult. And then everyone comes in and they're just like sex. You're sexing up my chat. And you're like getting all, and poor Mr. Blue, he's autistic and shit. He doesn't know how to handle these feelings. And so he's just, you're all right, Blue. You're all right. Just don't touch yourself in the no-no place. It'll make God cry.
apparently did not outline his intention to take his own life. Witnesses would later recall seeing George striding to that
No, you guys are fucking weird. I don't know.
classroom with absolute confidence. And it's believed that he targeted that classroom because it was filled with women.
It says there's like 3 guys in here right now. I don't understand why Right, because there's like, it's just a bunch of chicks in my chat. And I am openly misogynistic. Like, openly, and like, I am overtly misogynistic. I don't know why you guys are here talking about your boobs and stuff and how you find each other attractive. I don't know. You got to roll with it, though.
And sadly,
You guys
this
start
tragedy
lesing out in
would
the
result
chat,
in the
and I just
deaths
gotta roll
of
with
3
it.
of those women, with an additional 9 injured and
Be
5 of
lesbians
those
in the
being
chat, I don't
critically
care.
injured. Thankfully, though, all 9 would go on to make a full recovery. Miracles aside, it was all too late for 3 of these women. Heidi Overmeyer, age 46.
Mr. Blue says it's okay. I have my screaming corner, so he's prepared.
Elizabeth Gannon, age 49, and Jodie Billingsley, age 37. Heidi Overmeyer was a sales manager at a local amusement park.
Obinitia says, "Dike it up, yo." No dikes. No. I will ban you.
Growing up in West Mifflin, she was
Lipstick
the youngest
only,
of 5
please.
children, and neighbors described
Lipstick
her as
only.
the best you could ever have. This left a lot of pain for her son Ian, who tragically passed away just last year in a motorcycle accident. Elizabeth Gannon loved to exercise and walk a golden retriever. Friends say that she never had a bad day and was always friendly to people. Working as an X-ray technician, colleagues described her as a wonderful, caring person whose smile would brighten the day of her patients.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
She loved people and would always do right by them. Jodie Billingsley was in medical supply sales. She was
Okay.
after.
I wanted to go to the next one. A lot of people died. All right. I didn't want to go through the memorial.
Before he knew it, Elliot realised that she was now his new stepmother. The two would argue often, and with Elliot not accepting any discipline,
Is this guy an elf? He seems like he's got elf vibes. Or is it FTM? Because it could be FTM. I notice one earring. Is that still mean he's gay? I'm not I'm not hip anymore. Does the one earring still mean he's gay?
from an outsider, this would be a recurring problem in the years to come. Elliot lived a relatively wealthy life growing up. He went on several holidays abroad, had access to general and mental health care, and pretty much got whatever he wanted. But despite the money and gadgets that Elliot owned, his friendship circle slowly dwindled into his teenage years, and he eventually found himself becoming the target of frequent bullying. He still had friends, but
Amanda says this chat is like the last call at the bar. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
not
makes
many.
sense.
the situation would grow more
We're the
complicated at home
stragglers.
too.
We're a ragtag group of stragglers. And it's 2 a.m. The bar's closing. So we're just like, let's just go home with each other in a big group. And then we get on a bus.
At the age of 13, Elliot's father and stepmother had a son. Elliot's new stepbrother was called Jazz. In his mid-teens, he
Jazz?
started a personal YouTube account called
Jazz?
Elliot's Blog, which is where he often complained about his loneliness and reminisced about his childhood.
Elliot Roger here. And here I am at Sarania Park.
By the way, Elliot Roger is basically worshipped on like these incel forums, which it's called Reddit, right? And they see him as some sort of saint. They call him Saint Elliot. And it's a weird group of people. But so are we. So who are we to judge? I mean, we're not going up shooting gyms up. I hope.
Park.
I hope.
The most
Got my eye on you,
significant
Blue.
place of my childhood.
It was around this time that Elliot began his path of depression and loneliness. Unfortunately, the bullying at school didn't stop for Elliot either.
Mr.
Even-
Blue says Elliot Roger is such an FAG. Again, I can't say the word because I'm on YouTube right now, and I don't want to get. I'm getting too many of my fucking accounts banned. So I know they're kind of beating me into
And
submission.
at one point, the teasing resulting in Elliot having his head taped to the desk by fellow classmates. It was through negative encounters like
Obedient to Yes says, "What's the Sulk version of Tinder going to be called? Grinder."
this that caused Elliot to move from school to school quite often, and with that, he never made any friends locally.
What'd you think?
Elliot also started to see a psychiatrist at the age of 16. He was prescribed
See,
respiratory
then Thought comes in and says morning sex then. I don't even know what that is in relation to, but like this chat has gotten too sexual. It's gotten way too I asked one question, would you bang that guy? And then it just snowballed into like this it's smut in my chat room now.
an antipsychotic used to treat
It's
schizophrenia
smut.
and bipolar
It's
disorder.
like reading one of those novels.
He openly admitted in his blogs, though, that he refused to take this medication. After turning 18, Elliot became increasingly isolated. By now, he only had a handful of online friends.
Couch Surfing says, okay, I gotta go do chores now. I love you ladies and bye fellas. She's gonna go strum the old mandolin.
He often told his parents that he was unable to make friends in real
You guys did it to you did it. She's like, okay, I gotta take a break.
life, and no girls ever seemed interested in talking to him. Elliot
I wanna
decided
hear it's gonna be in the bathroom. Never mind.
that he wanted to
can't.
improve
I was
his
gonna
life
do
moving
sound
forward.
effects.
And to do this, he had to
But
try
I don't
two
want
things.
to because
The
she
first
is
one
my
was to
wife.
learn how to drive, thinking that this would impress women. And the second would be to try and dress better, therefore making him seem more approachable. He desperately wanted to fit into the world and make friends, so along with his new car, he changed his hairstyle and brought a bunch of new clothes.
Douche.
It was noted by his classmates, however, that although he did buy a new car and new clothes, he never actually tried to speak to anyone or make any friends.
There you go. There you go. So it's not the way you look or like what you drive. It's just like you're a little creep and you sit in the corner and you be a creep and you don't talk to anybody. And then you're just like, oh, I'm so handsome. What can I be? And then you get mad and you probably lash out and you seem small too, right? And that's not your fault, but you can try to like get some muscle at least. And you'd have a better shot. Not even lying to you, bro. You might be small and like short and like kind of like, I don't know, timid. But you hit the gym and you do that for a while, it'll at least up your chances.
Instead, he would sit in his car on lunch breaks and expect others to make the
Which, okay, now that I have a bunch of chicks in my chat, like this is The View or something, who would bang Elliot Rodger? Who would bang Elliot Rodger? If it were to save all those people, would you bang Elliot Rodger? You'd only have to do it once. Would you bang Elliot Rodger to save lives?
first move. His evenings and weekends still continued to be spent
And be very careful how you answer this, because there are a lot of to-be psychopath incels out there. And if you will have sex, if you say you would have sex with Elliot Rodger to save lives, then you, to just remain consistent, you have to go out and find yourself an ugly incel dude and bang him to save lives. I think the saying goes, use your cooter to stop a shooter. So, who would bang Elliot Rodger to save lives?
alone at home as well. He would spend his time either playing World of Warcraft or Halo with his
Why is everyone who's Elliot Rodger? The guy, this
3 friends, James, Philip, and Addison. And more or less, at the age of
this
8,
is Elliot Rodger. This is Elliot Rodger. This is him. He's a dude. Oh my god. I mean, I could, and he never had a chance. I'm not even saying he's ugly or anything like that. He's just a weirdo, man. He's just a weird guy.
18, Elliot recognized that he spent most of his latter
Critical Thought says I've definitely pity fucked in the name of peace. So you have, but you didn't answer my question. Would you fuck Elliot Rodger, knowing that that would stop the shooting, saving lives? Elliot Rodger, 5'4" something, 120 pounds, and creepy as fuck, as creepy as you can possibly get. So remember, there's always the possibility that he will stalk you for the rest of your life, because you only have to bang him once, but then the curse is on you now. Instead of all the foids that he captured his ire, it would all fall onto you. So it would be absorbing the curse. It's like It Follows.
teenage years,
The movie.
angry at the world.
Which is a good movie. You watch that movie. It's a good movie.
upset that he didn't fit in with friendship groups, despite never trying to.
Obedient to y'all says you could have stopped at 5'4" for 99% of women. And it's so true. Women are so predictable.
And even more importantly to him, he started to become enraged that he had never slept with or even had a girlfriend for that matter.
Amanda says, I fucked worse before. I don't know. I can't say yes, so no. That's a fair answer, right? I mean, yeah. I doubt many women would take up that I mean, you'd be jumping on a grenade. That's what that is. That is you know how like when men go out and then they meet a group of chicks, but then there's that fat one, and the fat one is considered the grenade. Because if she ain't getting laid, nobody getting laid, right? So you have your dumbest friend jump the grenade. And this is the female version of a grenade. But the thing is, it might actually explode. So
Elliot's perspective on other people had shifted to become more toxic too. He openly admitted in his
Charlie Horse says, I'm 5'8" without heels. I'm over 6 feet with heels. Jess is like 5'7", so she's pretty tall too.
journal that whenever he saw a couple together, holding hands or kissing, he would feel either intense sadness or rage. At one point, this resulted in Elliot throwing hot coffee over a couple that he saw kissing in a Starbucks car park. And while that action seemed hostile and completely out of order, it was only going to get worse.
Stop giving me your heights. I don't care. I don't care how tall you guys are. I don't care. Right? This is not a fucking dating service. All right? This is not a dating service. Everyone's talking about their underwear and like their boobs and how tall they are. This is not a dating service. All right?
In the year of 2011, Elliot was 19.
Obedient, congratulations on being 6'4".
And on Saturday the 4th of June, he moved to Isla Vista, a community on the coast of Santa Barbara, California. He moved there to attend Santa Barbara City College, joining
Mr. Blue comes in, I'll fuck the fat one, I have no standards. The hero emerges. Mr. Blue says, yeah, I'll do it. I don't care if it stinks.
private residence with two other men. It was almost instantaneous that Elliot's bitterness and loneliness
Obedient says, John, I just need your love. You got it. It's all yours. It's all yours, Obedient.
extended into
You're one of my he is like the longest watching person. I remember Obedient showing up on like my first streams, which is not that long ago, but it's like over a year.
his new life, though. Within a week, he was frustrated with his housemates, and by the end of the month, they'd moved out.
I can't quit
The
you, he
situation with
says.
Elliot's next
And somehow that's the gayest thing you've ever said on this. Obedient Tia said, I can't quit you. That's the gayest thing you've ever said.
pair of housemates,
You
though,
said
was
some
even
gay shit in this chat, dude. That's
worse,
the gayest shit
and
you've ever
coupled with
said.
Elliot's racism, he would argue with the two daily, almost getting into
Mr. Blue says, I'll pull the hoagie from the stone.
physical fights on a couple of
And you'll be the next king of the fat chicks.
occasions. The longing for a girlfriend continued too. He would often get so angry
That's
at seeing
funny.
couples that it would become a normality for him to run back to his room, sulking and crying.
That's funny.
His life continued.
See, look, he's not look. Okay, a lot of men don't know this, or like a lot of men do know this. When you become a man, you know this. When you're a young man, such as this individual, not myself or anything, but like a lot of dudes when they're younger don't get laid at all. And it's just, I don't know, chicks aren't into it, right? They want you to be older or something like that. So if he would have held on and just like went through his 20s, and they would have sucked, sure, for sure. But maybe he would have had a better shot when he got to his 30s. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. He wasn't getting any now, and so he thought it was going to be like that for his entire life. Maybe he was right. I don't know. A lot of times it's not like that, but sometimes it is, especially if you're weird, right? Because you don't grow out of being weird. He'll get older and like get more muscle definition and, you know, age up. Men age up pretty well. I've aged pretty well. I mean, I was always handsome. Come on. But I'm aging fairly well. I'm going to be 37 in a couple weeks. and I think I look fine. I look good. He could have aged really well, and then, but no, not now.
To worsen it in 2012 too.
And a lot of young men don't know that, right? A lot of young men don't know that. They think it's just going to be the way it is, and it's something about their canthal tilt or their bone structure or something like that. It's not. It's not. It's you're a fucking weirdo, and maybe you'll grow out of it, but maybe you won't.
It was this year that he dropped out of all of his classes altogether, not being able to stand the sight of others falling in love. Elliot also sparked.
Ardenshire says, honestly, my social life was shit until 30. Then things got real crazy real fast. Yeah, I think if you're most guys, I don't know. Some guys have good 20s. Some guys don't have good 20s. It's. Let's just be fair and say 80% of men probably not getting laid ever once. Not once.
Spiraled into the trap of gambling with lottery tickets. He believed that getting rich by winning the lottery would give him all of the female attention that he desired. And so, in the first week of February 2012, he spent over 100.
Amanda says, I still get carded everywhere I go. That makes me feel good. How old are you? Is 86 your birth year? Because, so you're like a year older than I am? So you, I assume, still get carded. I never got carded. I never got carded. I had older brothers, right? And I looked older than my older brother. And so I would take his ID when I was like 16 and I would go to the store and I would buy liquor and no one would fucking question me. No one would question me. It was, and I was never afraid of getting caught or anything like that. I'm like, that's what I did. It wasn't a problem for me. I haven't bought liquor in a while, so I imagine they would card me. Aren't they supposed to?
$100 on lottery tickets. Not surprisingly,
Amanda's
he didn't
38.
win. The next week, though, he felt more confident, and so he spent $500 on lottery tickets. No dice, but maybe third time's the charm. Week 3, he spent $700. This too, though, ended in a loss.
So he's like, okay, this is what Elliot Rodger's doing. He's like, bitches love money. I just need to get me some of that. Even though he drives a BMW and his dad's like a movie producer and he lives in a mansion, he's like, I need lottery winning money. So he goes and spends thousands of dollars on lottery tickets. So he's a fucking idiot. He's fucking retarded. Okay. That's your biggest obstacle. Being retarded is your biggest obstacle. All right. It's not what's going on, all of this and stuff. No, you're fucking retarded. And bitches, voids, don't want to get with the retarded dude. It's pretty, I mean, that seems obvious. Women have a huge responsibility when they have sex, right? They can risk getting pregnant and being laid up for like a year. And they need the man, to be able to provide for that sabbatical, let's call it. And then the children afterwards. So if you're going out and buying a bunch of lottery tickets in a get-rich-quick scheme, you've lost. You're gone, dude. There's a lot of stupid chicks out there. There's tons of them. But they're not that stupid. They're not that stupid, right? They're not that stupid. You can trick women, but not like that. No. They're going to know. There's a reason why women like funny guys. It's because funny guys have bigger brains, right? And so if you have a bigger brain, you can think of more ways of making money. And so you're probably going to have more money. If you're going out and buying lottery tickets, you're probably stupid and therefore not very clever and then not very funny. I think this is what a retarded thing to do. What a retarded thing to do.
He had nothing to show for the $1,300 he spent gambling.
What a retard.
And even worse,
Retarded
he didn't
thing.
accept defeat. He felt like he deserved it, that it was
You know the guy, Kevin from The Office? He's in accounting and he's like the retarded one. He talks real slow. He's married to like a bombshell, and she's not interested in him for any aesthetic reasons or even his sharp wit. Although he might be pretty smart. We don't know. He's playing a character. But he does have millions of dollars. He does have millions of dollars. I saw a picture of him with her, and she was literally holding him by the Rolex. So I mean, you know.
Cheated away from his money. Elliot dipped into one of the worst bouts of depression.
Amanda says, John, we aren't stupid. You may think we are, and that's because we want you to feel like that. Well, it does make me feel like a big man, right? I'll figure this out. And I always do. So, thank you. Thank you. Thanks. I don't know why there's so many women in my chat.
In his life shortly after this. As spring
It's like
break
a
fled
girl's
up near La
bathroom.
Vista, he spent most of his time in his room,
Only it
refusing
smells
to
a
try
lot
and
worse.
socialise. Angry, sad, and alone. And for the times that he did leave his house, he'd walk by himself, ranting to his video camera about his life.
Critical Thought says, and therein is the real secret for 99% of women. They aren't after money per se. They're after resourcefulness, non-retardation. And that's it, right? They also, even if you're rich, but you're retarded, it's still kind of a no-go, right? Because they don't want their offspring to also be retarded. It's an entire genetic thing, right? They like it if you're rich, right? But if you're smart and clever, it really edges that out, right? They know you're going to be at least moderately successful or successful enough to raise a family, right? But if you're like weird and you can't make eye contact or like talk to somebody or make them laugh or like be the center of attention in any sort of situation, you're not going to be it, man. You're just not going to be picked. And you being 5 foot nothing and 100 and nothing pounds on top of that is the icing on the shit cake, you know? So I understand your frustration. I understand his frustrations, right? Because he got dealt a bad hand. He was just retarded.
Hey, Elliot Roger here. Right now I'm just taking a walk through the park in this really nice, secluded area.
Eat Steak says, John's milkshake brings all the girls to the yard. And they mop it up. Because I spilled my milkshake. And I'm like,
I'm
clean
just
it up!
contemplating about my life and how unfair it's
I'm
been.
playing Call of Duty. It's just like that. And that's what they dream of. That's what every girl dreams of. Cleaning the kitchen as I play Call of Duty. Right, honey? Just cleaning the kitchen.
Lately. Ever since I started desiring girls. But they never desired me back. Life has been a living hell since then. Right now it's spring break. Everyone else my age is out having fun with their friends and their girlfriends. Here I am, taking lonely walks through a park.
In April 2012,
Sad. That's sad. And you're just, you know, lamenting your existence to your phone alone in the middle of the park. That's creepy, dude. Just don't be like that. Is it hard not to be like that? Just don't be like that. Just don't be like that. That's creepy. That's creepy, right? That's a fucking creepy thing to do. Alone in the park, just talking to yourself on your phone. I don't know, man. It's creepy. And this is an FTM for sure. This has to be. Has to be.
Elliot's long-term childhood friend James also decided that
Critical
enough was
Thought. Whiny little bitch. He's a whiny little bitch, right? He's a little crybaby, whiny bitch. And he's like... Sorry. You guys want some cat asshole? He's a whiny little crybaby bitch. And he's like, oh, it's not my fault. I'm just a victim in all of this. And the girls don't want me because I don't have the good bone structure. I'm not a jock like that, but I'm the supreme gentleman. You're a fucking tool. You're an absolute tool. And you're a whiny little bitch. So, yeah, Bitches don't want none of that. They don't. They don't want none of that, right? You have your BMW, that's fine and stuff, but I mean, if you get into a situation that you have to fight yourself out of, you're going to die immediately, right? You're just going to crumble. You're going to be like, take the girl, I don't care. And then that's not going to turn her on, right? It's not going to turn her on. I have a plan. If we get mugged, if like me and Jess are out on a date night and we get mugged in some sort of back alley, I'm going to trip her and then I'm going to run. And I'll survive to live on. Heroic.
Enough.
Heroic.
He found Elliot too radical.
If I do
too
say
negative.
so myself. No, she would never see me again. She would never. If I just like fucking split, just like ran, she would never talk to me again.
And so, with that said and done, he called the friendship off. It was at this point that Elliot now considered himself entirely alone.
Critical Thought says, "Hi, I have no self-esteem. Love me" as a timeless tale. That's actually such a good point, though, right? Because like they hate themselves, don't they? They hate themselves and like what they are and like why was I cursed to live this life and stuff. So you hate yourself and you're bitching about it alone in a park, and like it's just the whole flavor you have going is just a bad taste. It's a bad taste on the tongue. It's a bad flavor, right? Chicks don't want that. They don't want a bunch of problems. Women don't want a bunch of problems. Okay? Seriously, any dating book that I will write, it's going to say women don't want a million problems. They don't want any of your problems. They don't want your problems, right? They are women. They have their own problems, a plethora of problems, like an insane amount of problems. And most of them are conjured up in their own heads, right? So they don't want your problems, okay? Just convince them that you don't have any problems and that you can solve a great number of their problems. And then you have it. It's in the fucking bag. It's easy. It's not hard. And you don't have to be able to really solve their problems. You just have to convince them that you can. Again, super easy.
Friendless in this cold world.
Jess still thinks that I'm like, we're going to be okay. No, we're fine.
Late one September night, Elliot drank an entire bottle of wine. Or at least he tried to. He ended up...
Okay, so you can't even drink one bottle of wine? You can't drink one bottle? That's 4 glasses of wine. You can't have 4 glasses of wine? I don't even get started until I'm 4 drinks deep. Minimum. Jess has to like call the bar ahead of time and be like, when he has like 10, you got to start doing half shots because he won't notice. She has done that. She didn't call the bar, but she told the bartender, hey, don't give him doubles. Don't stop giving him doubles, please. Because I was really drunk. And I took a sip and I was like, this is not a double. Because she thought she could trick me. But I drank that and I went right back to the bar and I ordered another double.
Ended up spilling an entire glass all over his...
Gin and tonics. Gin and tonics. I like Hendrix, and I like them tall. Tall double gin and tonic Hendrix. I'll crush them.
laptop, completely destroying it. This meant that the next day he had to go to Best Buy to buy himself a brand new one. While he was there, he had to wait a few hours for the...
Amanda says I can down 2 bottles of wine, no problem. No problem. It would be no issue. If like I sat there, I drank an entire jug of Carlo Rossi, which is like 1.5 gallons of wine, right? In a sitting. So a bottle of wine, you can't do a bottle of wine. You can't do a Frenchman's breakfast. Really? Yeah, no wonder chicks aren't into it.
Store to prepare his order. And so, during that time, he walked across the road to a local firing range. This would be a turning moment for Elliot. He had previous thoughts of acting out the Day of Retribution, a time where Elliot would claim vengeance against women for denying him of his sex life. And it was here in this firing range after he took his first few...
Dude, women deny everybody of a sex life, right? That's their job to deny. It's their job to be picky, right? Because they hold the baby in their belly. They have to be picky. They have to be picky. So don't blame them for being picky, right? It's a you problem. It's a you issue. 100%. 100%. It's always, always, always.
Few shots that he asked himself,
what am I doing here?
And I'm
How
not
could-
simping. Trust me, I am not simping. I hate simps. I hate them. And women are trash. All right, let's just lay that down. So, but don't blame them because you can't get laid. That's a you problem. That's like, oh, I can't get money, so I'm gonna blame money. That makes no fucking sense.
Could things have led to this?
While his internal question at first sounded hesitant, by the end of the day, he had made his mind up. He had come to the conclusion that humans are just brutal animals, and if he cannot thrive among them, he would have to destroy them all. In his
See, and the weird thing, the strangest thing about this is after he killed all those people, then women went wild for them. Women love murderers. This is how dark women are. Evil people. So women love a man who has killed another man, right? And I totally get it. I really do. I totally get it. I forget what, there's a name for it. It's some sort of philia, but whenever there's like a murderer, a perfect example, that guy that shot that CEO, how many bitches were on Twitter frothing at the gash for that dude? Good looking dude, don't get me wrong. But what was attractive about him is he actually did some like ghost recon shit and he killed a guy. And he fucking killed a guy. Got away with it for a little bit. And then women, they can't help themselves. They just cannot help themselves. So, yeah, ironically, he became much more attractive after he had a body count.
manifesto after this day, he wrote,
I didn't want things to turn out this way. I wanted a happy, healthy life of love and sex.
JD Grab says, this can't be real. It's not that hard to pull a bird. Dude, it's so complex. So it's not. But he was trying to pull chicks that are way above rank. Way above rank. Right? I mean, he didn't want to bat around in like the minor leagues at all. He was just like, I want to go for the top. That'll be it. I have the one, and then that's it. And then there's nothing else besides. So it was his issue. It was his issue. It had nothing
But
to do
if I'm
with,
unable to have such a life, then I will have no choice but to exact revenge on the society that denied it to me.
Elliot purchased a Glock 34 automatic pistol in December that year. And
this is not a Glock. And this is not a Glock. This is a Glock. What?
again during the following spring break, he purchased another firearm, a Sig Sauer P226.
That is a 6-hour, yeah.
On the 20th of July 2013, Elliot attended a party.
Yeah, nice 6. There's 6. But that one was a Glock. And you know what? We're kind of out of time. We're out of time. You guys want to do this, the rest of it? There's still a lot of it. We only did 40 minutes. It's 2 hours long. Do you want to do the rest? We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll do that. We'll do the rest tomorrow because there's a lot of juicy shit in this. And I feel like I can talk at length about this subject. And you guys can talk about your boobs and your underwear and like your clits and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm hosting The View now. So do you guys want to... all the chicks come back to the chat. Come back to the chat and then we'll talk about your gross parts and how they stink. No girls allowed. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a no girls allowed. Right? So no girls allowed. Thanks so much for coming, you guys. I hope you guys have a great evening, a great, fantastic evening. This was a fun one. Thank you so much for all of the donos. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. And they will go to good home, which is my home. So thank you so much. Yeah. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I hope you guys take this knowledge out and spread the good word of the Sulk stream and become the ambassadors to Sulk and do those things that make me proud. You know what I'm talking about. Be beautiful and handsome and charming, and don't be a fucking creepy serial psychopath killers, because that's not helpful in any way. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful night. Do all those things that make me proud. Get a good night's rest. Drink some water. And take care of yourselves, because I care about you too. I really do. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Good night.
I'm an incredible soul.
Hit the like button.
Unhinged and enraged like a bulldog's fist growl. I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot.